check out that new style of playmat featured on 1000noble.com. So cool, so wow.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor, and we are here with Purple Luffy versus Nico Robin. We ended up playing two Nico Robins back-to-back in this tournament, and I wanted to show both of the games. I thought both games today were really fun. So before we get too deep in the video, I do want to say that if you guys want to go the extra mile and help me continue to do what I do have memberships open on the channel. You do get some perks there. Or you can, of course, go ahead and buy yourself a playmat. So just a couple of options if you want to go above and beyond and help your boy out. But as we see, Robin goes ahead and drops the Nico Olivia, buffing her up to, I believe, 3. And discarding a card. And we end up getting banished a Eustace Kid there, which is a bummer, honestly. I think Kid is one of those cards that I really like, but I have trouble finding the perfect time to play him. So we are going to go ahead and leader ability. And there's my friend there, photo bombing or video bombing, if you will. But we do have Zoro, thankfully. So we're already down to 3 life, which is a little scary. But I'm feeling pretty good about just applying a lot of pressure on the board. And hopefully, because Nico Robin is discarding cards to, god damn it, to continue to ramp for a couple turns at least. I'm hoping that I can kind of flood the board pretty quick and ideally be able to swing into them. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't get hit with the crazy amount of triggers. So we're going to poke 5, and they end up taking, and they get the Bonnie trigger, if I'm not mistaken, drawing 2 and trashing 1, I believe. Or just drawing 2, I can't exactly remember, but I'm going to go ahead and do a law search. Not much to grab. I think the 2K in Usohachi is the better thing to grab. So one thing I do want to mention is I know one of you guys commented on, I think, the last Robin game, that if I'm searching for a 2K counter, I should counter out with that first. You're totally right. I thought I usually do that, but I think that I feel like there's a chance I overvalue Usohachi's, but maybe that for good reason. But he is going to go ahead and drop the Nami to pop the Zoro, which is pretty unfortunate. I would have liked to keep the Zoro on board to start applying that pressure, but ideally we'll be able to Luffy Taro into something next turn. So they are swinging 5, and I do give them another Eustace Captain Kid. Yeah, see, I would love to get Kid down before the Luffy Taro turn, but I always feel like getting Zoro is a little bit better, especially if I have something to play off of the Luffy Taro. If I don't have anything to play, then that is a different story. But I am tweaking fiddling with a new deck list. I did play in a tournament. I didn't record because it was a new location. But I am trying out some new deck lists, and I might play in a tournament with one. But we are going to go ahead and poke 5. He's going to get another trigger. The blocker Saul, really unfortunate, but we are going to drop the Luffy Taro, I think, into, yep, the Sangoro. Such a good combination. I do have the vanilla 4-cost Usopp in my deck. He is a great option to, if I don't have anything else to play off of the Luffy Taro. So I like him. I really do. I took out Bon Clay, but I am thinking about putting Bon Clay's back. But the Nico Robin comes down and trashes one of our 9-cost Luffys, and he's going to go ahead and poke 5. And at this point in the game, I'm definitely really worried. Like, I go ahead and I take another hit, and I can Luffy Taro again, but I'm kind of feeling like I want to be a little higher on Dawn. So he ends up going 6, and I'm going to give him, oh, no, I should have given him the Usohachi. I give him the Sanji. I think I am, once again, overvaluing Usohachi because he can rest most of the blockers that Nico Robin is going to run. So I'm like, oh, I got to hold on to that for late game. But thankfully, we do actually have 2 Gum Gum Giants, which is wonderful. So we're going to start off by swinging at 6 with the Sangoro, drawing another, what is his name? Zoro. There we go. I got 2 of the alt-art Zorojuros. I'm hoping to get 2 more. I think I'm going to alt-art this deck because I just love this deck so much. I think this is the most fun I've had with a deck consistently. But I did post a poll yesterday, and it looks like we are going to be playing some Buggy games, which is great because I have a couple recorded already. So you guys are voting for Buggy over Shanks, which that deck is so fun. But yeah, he's going to get the trigger, discarding the, or not the trigger, excuse me. I was too busy talking about how fun Buggy is. I did not see what he did there. I'm sorry about that. Oh, Gum Gum Giant. Gum Gum Giant, duh. So we just go ahead, leave on up for Giant, and we are going to drop Luffy Taro into Zoro, and we are going to grab the Rush Sanji just to keep applying pressure. And look at this board. Yeah, we may have 1 life, but we have a decent amount of counters. We have a Gum Gum Giant. We have 2 Gum Gum Giants, which is pretty rare in my case, I feel. Yeah, so I'm not super worried here. I don't feel like I'm in a bad spot, and I think that this, I think if I remember my buddy Brayden's list, the highest thing he runs is 7 cost Lin, which right there, he is using proxies. We don't care. This is a local community. You guys have seen Brayden on the channel a cajillion times at this point, I think. But I do go ahead and heal him with the Big Mom. I'm not really threatened at this moment. So he swings 6 into Zoro. I give him a 1k with the Usopp. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Do I give him the 2k to get out of this? Do I give him the Sanji? I decide to give him the Usohachi. Which, honestly, I think that's a good choice. I want to have the Rush Sanji in my hand. And we are at 9 Dawn again. So I definitely didn't really want to use Gum Gum there because I am worried about going down in Dawn. Although one thing I have learned since, or not exactly learned, but one thing I've remembered since watching the Luffy TCG, which if you guys, I'm sure you guys have watched Luffy. He's great. He's one of my favorite One Piece creators, and I love watching him play Purple Luffy. Like, he knows how to play this deck so well. But you can ramp, take your life to have that Dawn up for Gum Gum. Of course, don't necessarily want to do that if you're worried about losing, but you know, it was something I never considered before. So we end up going ahead and clearing board a bit, and I end up swinging 8 with lead, or excuse me, 8 to lead, and they get, I think that's like their 2nd or 3rd Bonnie trigger. Man stacked his life, man. Crazy that I think he's mentioned that his deck has about 40 triggers. So I feel like we've gotten pretty lucky. I think we've only seen about 2 triggers, if I'm not mistaken. And there he goes, playing down another Giant. Pretty much a bummer. And I'm trying to condense my board because, I don't know, it just looks... I'm very particular about the way my cards sit on my board. I'm sorry. We go ahead and swing 5. Just trying to get some cards out of hand. As I've mentioned, I'm not super worried at this point. I'm feeling like we have a good, we're in control here. And don't worry, I think I'm taking Law off the board here. I think I'm realizing that is way too many characters on board. So yeah, I take that. And then, yeah, I take Sanji, or I take Zoro, and I take Law off the board because now we're going to play the Nami. We are going to discard Luffy Taro to draw 2 cards, and we are sitting pretty good, I feel. Yeah, I think that was a pretty solid turn, and I mean, we've been able to keep our board really full. I think that my opponent isn't seeing a lot of what he needs to keep his board full, and I'm doing a pretty good job of controlling the board. I think, of course, you guys could tell me something different, but he ends up playing the Darashi and getting 2 Capone Vages. 2 of the 2Ks, so that's definitely gonna make going for game a little harder, I feel, especially if he drops a blocker. But I think the only blocker he runs is Sol, which can be rested by the Sanji, so that is an option. And there is Clover coming down to search the top 3 for a trigger card. I think it's very interesting that you can search triggers. I think that's a really cool mechanic. Of course, yellow haters are shaking and crying, and I understand that, but I just think it's really neat to be able to search for triggers. So he is going to swing 7 into, or excuse me, is Big Bob 8? Am I dumb? I think he's swinging into Luffy Taro. I give him a 2K. I don't really want to give him my only 1K. So he is going to play down the Nico Olivia, and you guys can see I'm using Gum Gum. I want to keep Luffy alive. I go ahead, discard these Orojuro, -2 Dawn, drawing 2, and we are gonna go ahead and get out of that. Yep, I had to do the math really quick in my head, and that's why there was that long pause. And we get the 9 Mom. I actually recently upped 9 Moms to 3, and I think I really like 3 9 Moms. I think it's a really good fit. I don't play against a ton of Dophies, but I think that it's really good for the Dopey match. So we're gonna go ahead and go 6 into life, drawing. We get another Gum Gum, dude. We see so many Gum Gums this game. I am so lucky. So the Dare Sheet trigger comes off, which means he gets to draw a card. I will go 8. I think I sequenced this a little poorly. We get 2 cards out of his hand there. Swinging 6. Get another card. 8. He's gonna get a Dare Sheet trigger. And once again, here we are going for lethal, and I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Do I load everything up on leader? Do I drop the Luffy, or do I drop the Rush Sanji? I don't remember exactly how many cards in his hand. I feel like he had a decent amount of cards in his hand. And yeah, I load everything up on trigger. And see, I mentioned it last game. He left one up bluffing the Gum Gum Giant, and that is something I need to do more. I know, as I mentioned last game, I didn't bluff Giant, and I think that bluffing Giant would have helped a lot. But you'll see in the next game, I learned from Brayden here. I learned from my friends, and I think it really, it helped. So, yeah, definitely something I'm going to try and do more. But that is that game. I thought it went pretty well. Definitely seeing what I needed. I mean, 2 Luffy Taros is annoying, to say the least. Just so much board pressure, and I think if he saw maybe a couple more Namis to help pop the smaller bodies, and yeah, I mean, Purple Luffy just getting a ton of cards in hand and all that fun stuff. So that is gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button down below. Helps me out more than you can ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new. And by the way, guys, this is going up on Christmas as well as the first day of Hanukkah. So happy holidays, guys. Have a wonderful and safe holiday season.